Welcome back, my friends, to another mini panel update. Since this video is about feature update only, I won't repeat the show and tells on the hardware and firmware. For the new viewers, there are two earlier videos that you can refer to for the basics. If you want to watch them, there will be pop-up links at the end of this video. The two major changes for this new update are a new layout for the situation page and the custom support for the tallest Airbus in Explain. To start describing the changes, let's start with starting up our Baron. Using FlightSim 2020, in the devices page, you can use the rotary knob to turn the key to start the engines. Be careful not to crank them counterclockwise while you are airborne though. On to the situation page. It has become pretty jam-packed. As we saw before, the intent for this page is to provide essential information during critical phases of the flights, perfect for those landing challenges. Let's walk it through from left to right, top to bottom. First, we have the navigation section. You have the distance and radio to the DMEs. And now also the GPS, if you have a destination set. Today we are near the scenic Queenstown Airport in New Zealand. The direction arrow here will point you towards the airport. And ETE is available. Therefore, with this information here, the old navigation page is gone. And for the arrow display, you can also switch between the relative bearing and a regular compass by touching the dial. On the second row, this is for the terrain elevation. If you have a valid GPS waypoint, you can switch this to see the waypoint elevation. It's between altitude of your aircraft, and if you are below 2500 AGL, the radar altimeter. The touchdown time here will require a bit of explanation. It estimates the time it will take for you to reach the ground based on your current AGL and the vertical velocity. You might find it somewhat useful for planning your descent. And next, ground speed or indicated airspeed. No change from previous versions. We have some status displays here for parking brake and icing warning, etc. The RPM gauges, also no change. The wind display shows the wind components and its incoming direction relative to the aircraft. On the bottom row, you can adjust the barometer setting using the left rotary. We have the redesigned landing gear indicator that animates the gear positions now. It lets you activate the gear by touch as well. And a couple of new rotary controls for the rudder and aileron trims. We have the same three status bars here. The flap indicator can now depict the actual number of detents based on the aircraft in use. Okay, I hope you'll find them useful, and stay tuned for the tallest Airbus in Explain. Since this Airbus is modeled with a lot of details, so it deserves to have a couple of custom pages for its autopilot and panel operations. The autopilot page has replicated most, if not all, of the buttons and knobs required to get the plane flying from A to B. The panel page allows you to control the lights and some of the switches from the overhead panels. We have started things off with a greeting from the master warning. Let's use our touch panel to clear it. Let's allow the autopilot to take over. The 4 push buttons are used to get in and out of the flight mode. Holding the button down for more than 6/10 of a second will get you into the selected mode. Obviously, the rotary encoders are assigned to program the 4 parameters on the top row. A short press of the button engages the managed mode. At the bottom of the page, we have access to the EVIS system. Tapping here allows the encoders to control these settings, changing the range of the map. Selecting the display mode for the navigation display. These 5 buttons correspond to the top row on the EVIS panel, and the terrain display button is also included. Let's go check out the panel page. We will let the sun go down on us to demonstrate the interior light controls. The rotaries are used to adjust the illumination for the panel. The floodlights, and the brightness for the electronic screens. And the Bagdu. Moving up to the overhead panel, we have full control of the exterior lights. Seatbelt sign and dome lights. Moving further up, the anti-ice buttons are implemented. And putting the rotary to multitask, they can also be used to control the wipers. And that is all. You can download the new source code from the link in the description below. You will find a summary of this firmware update in the revision history PDF file. As I have mentioned in the beginning, this update video has not covered many of the pre-existing features and designs. If you want to refer to those topics, here are the links. Thanks for watching. Have fun!